You need some chairs back there?
That's not true.
What?
So, but can you stay here? Please. Where are the kids that have to sign up for public participation?
Things are dangerous.
Sterling, what are you doing?
Okay, if that's the way, Sterling, if that's the way we're gonna do it.
Sterling, go wreck 'em.
distracting, okay? If that's the way we're doing it, that's distracting. What do you need? She's allowed to have
Yeah, we figured. Oh, yeah, lock this on all the time. And push talk, it'll only be on. Yeah, only for brand new technology here at the VOA. Hey, Katrina.
Just want to caution everyone, these are new. Typically, we all try to hit this. If you do that, that'll blow the mic. That's how, or the speakers. You can't, testing 1, 2, don't do that.
Did everybody, Joe,
What?
could you give everybody the instruction that you just
Sure.
gave? Thank you. Everybody look, no, stop, everybody, and pay attention, please.
So for the new mics, super easy. The talk button you see in front of you, if you push and hold that.
Excuse me, Joe's speaking, could we just, he's teaching us how to use these. Go.
The new microphones you see in front of you, the talk button, hold it. One of your fingers on it, it'll actually be on. If you push the lock button, it stays on the whole entire meeting. So in a sense, I would say use the talk button, because I was going to talk, just push it, speak into the mic. And you shouldn't have to get too close, you can see it's got pretty decent range on the new one. So. Don't touch the 3 little buttons. And that's it.
You get launched out of your seat.
That's a tutorial. We do have 4 more in order, so everyone has their own mic after probably next week.
Okay, so, this is pretty exciting, okay.
Big in my way. Yeah.
I don't know. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Please stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag.
Okay, roll call, Kat.
Alberts,
Here.
Cooper,
Here.
Ferguson. Here. Latin,
Here.
Polly,
Out of town.
Janelli,
At a PTO somewhere.
Matrina.
Here.
Petrofessa,
Private.
Taversat.
Yeah.
Tranzillo.
Here. So, hi, everybody, and you're all here. First this. Hi, everybody, glad you're all here. I'm gonna ask everybody here to look at the, where's the camera that we're looking to wave hi to the people that are watching from home. I am pressing the button. Oh, over here, press the button, no, wait, hi. And that's to some of our newer members that were just elected that are watching us on television. So, we're waiting for Sal. We're waiting for Sal to come back.
I'll be back in a minute.
Okay, good. Nobody's in a big rush, right? Nobody's in a big rush. I think this is, I'm gonna have to leave it open. I'm sorry. board welcomes public participation and asks the speakers please limit their comments to 3 minutes. Speakers may offer objective comments of school operations and programs that concern them. The board will not permit any expression of personal complaints or inflammatory comments about the Board of Education personnel and students, nor against any person connected with the Danbury Public School System. I have the list of the people that have signed up. Haley, I can't pronounce your last name, Haley, where are you? I'm sorry? All right, would you step up to the table and talk to us? Do we have a microphone for that table?
We do.
Oh, it's there, I'm so sorry.
They're speaking behind.
Okay.
Oh, so you're not doing it one at a time, you're gonna do, all right.
We're just taking turns.
I'm sorry?
It's all about the same topic. It's just.
Oh, all right, that's good, okay, that's fine.
You don't have to push down, so.
Oh,
Introduce yourself and go.
okay. I'm Haley Pasmentier, and this is Sabrina Michael Duncan and Cindy Pena. And we're from the Danbury High School Social Psychology class. And we're also here with Ms. Dioria. To the board members of Danbury High School District. We are here from Danbury High School in pursuit of the truth by advocating for the change of the nationally celebrated holiday of Columbus Day to Indigenous Peoples Day. We would like to begin by stating this is not about disrespect, but about giving respect where respect is due. Columbus Day was founded in 1937 by President Franklin D. Roosevelt in response to the Knights of Columbus and the Italian-American community. However, the foundations on which this holiday was founded was false, and by celebrating Columbus Day as it is, schools are teaching children to reward a man with a legacy of untrue and fabricated accomplishment. We are celebrating a man whose legacy is based upon lies. A man who 500 years before even being born was beaten to North America by a Viking by the name of Leif Erikson. A man who, upon arriving to his destination, settled in the Caribbean islands, not North America. A man who could not have discovered that the earth was round, when in the 6th century BC, philosophers like Aristotle and Pythagoras had already written that the earth was a sphere. A man who, by allowing his name to encompass this celebrated holiday, glamorizes actions that led to genocide, human trafficking, the spread of mass disease, death, and destruction, which we, as American citizens, have been fighting against since the beginning of the civil rights movement. If we say we are a nation built upon justice and truth, then we cannot continue to glorify the name of Christopher Columbus for all the things he did not do.
By instead celebrating Indigenous Peoples Day, we acknowledge the existence of Native Americans who made history on American soil long before Europeans set foot here. If our country is founded on truth, we must take ownership of the destruction it took to get us to this point in history. If our country is founded on truth, we cannot build on top of lies. We need to take ownership of the past that is our rightful history. This is our world, and we have the power to shape it. If not us, someone else will. So far, Columbus Day has been changed to Indigenous Peoples Day in cities such as Portland, Oregon, Albuquerque, New Mexico, St. Paul, Minnesota, Olympia, Washington, and Bridgeport, Connecticut. The Federal School Board of District, the City School Board in Bridgeport, unanimously voted Tuesday night to do away with the federal holiday in favor of Indigenous Peoples Day, and the board member Kate Rivera proposed a move, asserting students should be taught the true history, not the falsehood that Columbus was a hero. If they can make the change, so can we.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
someone just told the students that we don't comment on public participation, we just listen. No, thank you. Alrighty, is there anyone else in the, I'm sorry, is there anyone else in the room that would like to speak? No? Seeing none, we're gonna move forward. All right, Kathy, the consent calendar?
A motion that the Board of Education approves the items on the consent calendar, exhibits 15-170 through 15-171 as recommended.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Ferguson. Any questions, discussions? Seeing none, all in favor? Passes, thank you. We'll now go and move into our student representatives. Oh, no, we're not, I'm sorry. Whatever. I'm jumping right over my big project. Our employee representatives are here. We have the Academy of International Studies. We have teachers or someone from the academy here to speak? Okay, seeing none. I know we have people from Danbury High School because I know their faces. They're here, and the representation from Danbury that's speaking is Leo. Please come and introduce yourself, sir.
The mic should be on.
With apprehension. Does this sound right?
Yes, it is.
Thank you. I will try not to gesticulate too much. My name is Joe Vass. I am a social studies teacher at Danbury High School, and I am also the building chair for NEA Danbury and Danbury High School. And I certainly have a few things to bring up tonight. And first, I thank everyone for asking us, especially the chair, Eileen Alberts, for actually bringing us here and inviting us to speak. We certainly appreciate it. You can see from the number of staff sitting here that we are all very eager to be able to open these channels of communication and talk about issues and things. Well, to begin with, kudos to Mr. Ross and the Hatters Herald for another excellent addition here. And as you can see, it starts with Mr. Boccaccio. Boccaccio says, DHS will forever be in his heart. Principal's retirement resonates with students, staff, and faculty. And then inside it goes on to say, Boccaccio has always put students first. And that's one of the things that teachers and staff at the high school have been sort of keeping their eye open to. What's going to happen that this was the last year that Mr. Boccaccio was serving us at the high school. And of course, we're quite pleased to hear the positive news that Mr. Donovan will be our next principal next year. And that was certainly met with a positive response in the high school. And it's quite interesting to note, and the newspaper picks up quite a bit of it, that Mr. Boccaccio was the first principal since Mr. Getz left in 2003 to actually carry a class from its 9th grade year all the way through to graduation, which does speak volumes about many, many different things. We, the teachers, are certainly grateful for the stability and the continuity that Mr. Boccaccio has brought to the high school. The students certainly appreciate him as well. In here, there are comments about, in the photo, about how Mr. Boccaccio was always there in the morning when they had to get off the school buses, how he comes up with his announcements in the morning about take your headphones out, take your earphones out, take your cell phones out, and all that kind of stuff. And at the end of the day, there he is back at the buses again, saying goodbye to the students and bringing them home and seeing them off as they go home. In particular, in here, they also mentioned they will really remember how he came into advisory classrooms and how he would smile and wish them well, maybe a season's greeting or have a nice vacation and things like that. And especially, which struck me, they said that they felt safe after Mr. Boccaccio was there with them, carrying us through the rather difficult times of Sandy Hook and those events. And they really appreciated his leadership there. We know Gary loves the school and loves his students. Quotes like, he has always put us first while on the job, said a student. On this third page here, perhaps a slightly longer quote. When Gary brought one of the classes through the graduation, he said, it brought tears in my eyes because I was able to see the growth and the transformation of people that came in as youngsters at 14 years of age, very immature, not sure about direction. And then I saw people who had matured tremendously, that had a focus, that had a vision for what their future wanted to be, that were really appreciative of the education that they had received. I guess one student put it best, you really have to appreciate the kind of dedication to students and faculty that Mr. Boccaccio brought. Certainly, faculty and teachers may not always have agreed with Mr. Boccaccio on what he said, but we always knew we got a fair shake with him, that he would always listen to us, and that he always had the best interest of the school at heart. And yes, I think we, the teachers of Danbury High School, do also say we have to appreciate that kind of dedication to the students and the faculty that he's brought. And Mr. Boccaccio, unquestionably, is a true hatter in every sense of the word. And now, Mr. Donovan will take over next year. Another headline in here said, good choice to fill big shoes. I actually think Donovan's shoe size may be larger than Boccaccio's. But, again, student words, he has paid his dues. We don't need to go through all the different initiatives and things that Mr. Donovan has carried through at the high school. We are very grateful for what he has done. And perhaps the most telling comment in here from students is that this was a good decision because he is not far removed from the classroom. He understands. He knows. He's been there. He works with our students and our teachers every day, every minute of every day. And he will need all that experience and all that determination as he goes forward because, I mean, we can be honest, there are issues that he will have to deal with at the high school. In particular, there are three, I think, that my colleagues would agree with me on that I would like to bring up here tonight. The first one, I think, is that we need to be thinking about some sort of a restoration of a balance. And when I say restoration of a balance of what? Our students are people. They are not test scores. They have all the different needs of growing young people, growing into adulthood, and we need to meet all those needs. This almost testing mania that's been driven down on us from Washington, D.C. all the way down to us has caused all kinds of distortions in what we do, in our curriculum, in our offerings to the students. And over, the pressure is test scores, test scores, test scores. Our students are much more than just test scores. And I think it's about probably time that we started to address this balance and move us back towards addressing the true needs of our students and all the different things that they bring into the school on a regular basis. The second thing here, especially with our students, is we know there are subgroups that need more help and attention and care and nurturing. And they are widely varied. They can be our immigrant students who have come in, ELL students, they can be students at risk, they can be students in our special ed programs. We at the high school and under district leadership have done many, many things and created many important programs to help these young people and move them forward on their way. But more still needs to be done. I think it's a testimony to the strength of our teaching staff and the dedication of our teachers that we try to, in many ways, shield our students from the testing mania, to understand what they need first, that there are priorities here, and that when our students' needs are well met and well served, the rest will fall into place. The test scores will go up by themselves if we are doing right by our students. I've heard this little phrase that we all like to say, you know, Danbury High School speaks in 43 different languages or 46 different languages or whatever the number might be. And though, yes, we do speak in 43 languages, I think it might be time for us to also ask how many languages do we actually listen in? Because our students tell us things and we need to be aware of these things. Excuse me. The third big challenge really comes from the evaluation system. And the teacher evaluation system, with all the extra task saturation, fatigue, and maybe even burnout, close to burnout in some cases, has really taken a sledgehammer to staff morale, perhaps not only at the high school, but around the district. We are very lucky, and NEA Danbury certainly thanks Dr. Pascarella, Dr. Glass, and all the other high-level members of their team, because they have been very willing and open to discussing with us all the issues and things that have surfaced with this particular plan, and are committed to working with us so that we together can continue to build the trust and the dialogue and the conversations to actually make this a successful plan. And as the plan is supposed to be, it's a growth plan. It is the improvement of our teaching practice. And we certainly look forward to continuing to work on that and to build that so that we ultimately give the best possible education to our students. If we have good teachers, which we do, under the leadership of good administration, then what can only result is excellent education for our excellent students. And the teachers at the high school certainly look forward to working under the leadership of Dan Donovan next year, to finish out under Gary Boccaccio this year, to continue to build those relationships, to improve our teaching, and to improve education for all our students. And perhaps one day, if we are still using print, though by the way, this says stop the press, we're going digital, but maybe one day the headline will read, Donovan says DHS will be forever in his heart. And Mr. Donovan will be his shoes will be those that somebody else will need to fill. And maybe like one of the students here said, once you're a Hatter, you're always a Hatter. We're proud of our school. We look forward to great things. We thank you. And if I may also close today as a history teacher, tomorrow is Veterans Day. Please thank a veteran. And if there's anybody in here who has served, on behalf of all the teachers of the high school, thank you. And, well, enjoy the rest of the evening. Thank you.
Thanks, Joe. Thank you very much. All right, now we're moving on, now it's student representatives. And since we just finished with Danbury High School, why don't we start with Danbury High School? Would you introduce yourself and start?
Hi, my name is Emily Doris, and this is Marissa Lobo, and we are part of the Board of Governors Executive Council at Danbury High School. In the past few weeks at DHS, we have had a DECO breakfast last Friday, honoring the first 10 students of the quarter. There will be a breakfast this Thursday for our door decorating contest winners, and the theme this year was What Inspires You? And seeing the participation from all grades was very impressive this year. Today at 2 p.m., our boys soccer team won their first SCAC game in the state competition, so that's really impressive as well. Starting on Monday, the DECA organization at our school is hosting a canned food drive, and all proceeds will go to help fight children's hunger. Lastly, the first quarter is coming to an end, and report cards will be passed out this Thursday to all grades during advisory periods. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone here from ACE? No one's here from ACE. Okay, moving forward, it's time for Liz. Oh,
That one here.
oh, hi.
Hi. Okay. So I do have a few notifications. I was speaking with the statewide student member of the Connecticut Board of Education, and he gave me some updates. So the most recent statewide Board of Education meeting was very brief. The state adopted new standards for science education. A small wording connection was made to a past vote, so again, very short meeting. The board approved the Department of Education's legislative agenda for this year, and a number of budget cuts were also announced. The most significant budget cut was a budget cut for CPEP, which is the Connecticut Pre-Engineering Program. They're cutting about $250,000 for that program, something that I was personally quite disappointed to hear about. I'm actually a student. I've gone through the Connecticut Pre-Engineering Program, and the opportunities provided to me were truly invaluable. So we'll see where the student voice goes on that. I'm sure once the Statewide Student Advisory Council on Education hears of these budget cuts, there will be some discussion at our next meeting. And our next meeting is on November 16th. Dr. Pascarella, I do have to speak with you a little bit later about those high school graduation requirements in a committee meeting. And I'm hoping to get some support from students on that particular issue, and we might speak to one of the committees in charge of that particular topic.
Thanks, Lexi, I'm sorry I didn't, I was on the
No worries.
Moving forward, our presentation.
Yes, Rob, come on up. And Jessica, we used to teach.
I'm not,
first
I
event,
can't.
right? I'll let him do the background, but every year I'm just marveled with the work that the program does, Cody does for us, for our students. I'm sure many of you don't even know what goes on during the summer, during the year. And every time he gives me this report, I say, I gotta take it to the board. So tonight we have the opportunity for Rob to do that. Go ahead.
Can I say two things before that kind of had, first thing is I had Michael in 6th grade, right? You know, and I'm very proud to see him down here because even in 6th grade, he was into politics. I gotta use this.
That's such a surprise to me.
Okay. So anyway, I'm happy to see you down there when I'm sitting here and see that's a great thing. And my son goes to AIS, so if I'm the only spokesperson for AIS, he's made a smooth transition to AIS. I know one of the tough things about AIS is that there's so many kids from different areas, and when you transfer, it's hard to get along with. There's not everybody's in the same community, but he's done a great job there. So plug in a couple of things there. I'll get to the point. So, real quick, I want to tell you a little bit about our program. You guys have the sheet that Jessica turned around, who is a product of Danbury High School. So, what you have here is our program, and basically our program is divided up into 3 segments. The first segment is our Excel program, which we service all 3. I guess I'll sit down. Which is broken down into all 3 of the middle schools. And there's a breakdown of how many students we service in each school right there. We added the West Side Middle School this year, and that was a huge success. We have 21 students. We're looking at possibly doubling that for next year. I'm going to tell you, and then moving down, we have the Minority Bilingual Teaching Pipeline, which is a collaboration with the Danbury Board of Ed and Western Connecticut. What that does is it works with students that want to be teachers, and Jessica can talk a little bit more about that one.
Yeah, so it's students who want to go into the teaching profession. So what they do is they go and they work with Ellsworth Elementary School right now, and they go during the summertime and they create different lessons. They go and teach, so it gets them a little bit excited about the teaching profession. And then with some of them, it's oh, I don't want to teach probably because it's all of these things that you have to do. So they learn when they're in junior and senior year. But most of them, they usually do decide to teach or do some kind of in the teaching field. And
so the key thing, since we're in education, the anticipatory set here is the fact that they all get college credit for taking this class, which then translates into 3 college credits, and they can carry that into WestCon, or it could even transfer to one of the other state schools. The last program I want to talk about real quick is the Concast EAP program, which I'm not going to spend too much time on. But that is a feeder program for our high school students and many other students that come from Danbury High to be in a 5-week residential summer program at Western Connecticut. Read through that. That again is not exactly what I came here to talk about, but it's definitely it's part of the path that we've created from working with elementary kids, middle school, high school, and then on to the college group. The program that we want to focus on most here though is the high school group. And, we've doubled the amount of high school students within the last 2 years. We get the majority of our funding through the federal government and the state government. The Board of Education has helped us as well. What we've been able to accomplish with these monies primarily is to help provide the after-school tutoring program at Danbury High School with busing home and providing them with approximately 8 to 10 tutors throughout the days that they have tutoring. This has been hugely successful, and It was a smaller model that we've grown into a larger model with all of Danbury High School. The smaller model is, can be seen in the data that we've given you guys in the sheets and the retention and the graduation rates. This has been the program that, you know, we've run with this program. And part of the reason why we get the money from the federal government is because part of our goal is to turn around persistently low achieving schools or school districts. And this has been one way that we've been able to help Danbury kind of, help with the after school programming. Some other things that we do, and I want to bring in some of the students, and it's kind of key that they're here because we actually have a senior, a graduate of the program, and a current student of the program, and they happen to be all siblings. So I wanted to bring them here for a quick second for them to just talk to you a little bit about their experience in the program at each one of these levels. Whoever's first.
Okay, so my name is Yara Zaccarado. I graduated from Danbury High School back in 2010. The program was very influential in my life. I'm the oldest daughter of immigrant parents who always enforced the importance of an education but never had the means to tell me how to go to college or how to get scholarships. And the staff in the program were always there to guide me through the process and know what my potential was before even I knew what my potential was. I managed to go to UConn with a full ride, so I don't have any loans to pay. I am currently working here in Danbury trying to save up to go to graduate school for either my master's or my doctorates. And I also think the program was really good because it showed me what my potential was and how hard work can always get you to someplace. But at the same time, you may also need a hand to help you no matter how hard you work. I feel like it's always good to have someone to show you what path you can take and have them lead you the correct way to do something. And both my siblings are now in the program, and I'm very happy they are, because even though I've been through the process, they can learn from other people their own age and see how their experience is different and alike from all the students that are in the program. And I think that's very important to see that, how unique you are, but also how you're in a similar boat or in a similar situation with other people your age, and we can learn from that as well.
My name is Yago Zaccarado. For those of you who know me, like Dr. Saleh Nassif, I am one of the student representatives of the Say Something initiative that took place at Danbury High School these past couple weeks. I just want to go on record by saying that part of my strive for doing that change, for bringing that community change project to Danbury High School is because of the CONCAP Over Bound program that we have at DHS. With CONCAP, I found a love for community service. I found a love for helping people. And that kind of escalated with going into the peer leadership program at DHS and learning about the St. Hook Promise organization. And that evolved into a strive for change that I had. And that's what really made me want to bring the Say Something initiative to Danbury High School. And I think that's the biggest thing that CONCAP has given me. There has been, the knowledge of how to fill out a college application and scholarship application, but I feel what was most influential to my life is me wanting to go and put forward help, me wanting to go the extra mile, me wanting to help other people. That's what I have to say about the CONCAP Over Bound program.
Hi, my name is Yanka Zaccarado. I'm a junior at DHS right now, and I'm also in CONCAP. I went through Excel as well. And as my sister was saying, my parents, they didn't finish high school, didn't go to college, so they don't know anything about the process of going into it, and CONCAP definitely helps. Every year we learn about scholarships, we learn about how to apply, we learn about that whole process. Also, the teachers, they grow a very big like a very important relationship with the students in the program. I know that me, during my free periods, I'm always in a classroom talking to a CONCAP teacher, asking for help, telling them about how school is going. Yeah, and it's like, you go into the program, I didn't think that I would grow as big as a relationship with everyone that I grew, but the teachers, they know my parents, they know my siblings, and they get very involved with the students in the program, and that really helps.
To kind of just sum up a couple of things, I have a card, and on the back of it is kind of like a QR code, and you guys can look up our website. It's on the back. That website can direct you to the Excel, the CONCAP Upward Bound, and the EAP. So if you just QR code that, and you're good to go, or you can look us up online. Just to kind of sum up to a lot of things that we do, and the reason why I brought that up is because we keep an up-to-date calendar on our website. We meet with the students bi-weekly, as a group. We meet with them weekly as individuals. And like I said, we have the after-school tutoring program. And the other thing that really helps these students, and is the most beneficial piece, we call it the bread and butter, right, is the fact that they're on West Conn's campus for 6 weeks during the summer. And while they're on campus for 6 weeks, they're taking classes that they will have been taking next academic year. For example, if a student has above a C 73, right, in any one subject, they're allowed to move up and take the next subject offered. If not, they retake that during the summer for the 6 weeks to get reinforcement for the next academic year. During the summer, we also, we take college tours and things like that, a lot of team building activities, and what we do is we bring a lot of that to the high school when we meet on a bi-weekly basis. Subsequently, at all the middle schools, the same activities are starting to go on right now as well. One thing, and I heard it from all three of them, we've already done, since the year started, we've done something like I'm going to say close to 20 community service projects, between, September and where we are right now. So we're very active. One community service project doesn't fit every student, so we try to have multiple ones so that everybody can take part in each one. And unless you have something else.
No, I think I brought it up.
We're all, any questions?
That's what I'm gonna ask.
Wait.
You have any questions, guys?
No, I can't.
It was that complete, but nobody has a question?
I always have a
I'm
question.
sorry, Bob.
I like
always has a
questions.
Okay, just an example of some of the community service.
So this next week we're doing a thing called Wake and Rake. It's based out of Brookfield, but what they do is they help elderly people clean the leaves around their homes that can't get outside. It's a Brookfield activity, but we actually got a site in Danbury, which is nice because our students are from Danbury. We do a lot with Ability Beyond Disability homes. We bake cookies on Thanksgiving, and then I'm thinking of Valentine's Day. What was the other one we do?
We do like community service with Moore Street, like where we go and we do like breakfast with Santa. We do
haunted
we
hallway.
usually do the haunted hallway, and then just any activities that they have. So we try to work with like the other schools. We try to work with the community partners, and then like they mentioned a lot of different activities, so that way all the students have the opportunity to do. But then definitely, if you have a chance, check out our website because all the community service are there, the dates and the time.
Friends of the Library book sale.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of them. And the ones that come to mind.
Sal wants to know if you guys can come find him a contact in Westport.
I just,
Go ahead, Phyllis.
okay, I just wanted to say that when I was a guidance counselor, this program just started ages ago, and it really warms my heart to see how it has grown tremendously, and thank you for that.
Thank you.
And
Yeah,
we want to keep growing.
yes. So one thing, and just to tell you guys, when I started this job, 2002, we had 57 students, and now we're up to 132 in high school. And it goes on and on, 90 in the middle school, and then obviously we're getting a lot of the Danbury kids at the college and at EAP, and so that really is, we are growing. In fact, one of the things, actually, this will be my first public thing to tell you. I'm getting a new building. I'm getting a new area for this building at the for this program at the college. So they're going to give me a wing. If you've been at the college, you've seen the Math Emporium. We're going to get a room very similar to that. So a lot of the workshops that we host for the parents, you know, and also the students, we're sponsors of College Goal Sunday, and these are things where students fill out their FAFSA form and so on and so forth. We now have an actual room where we can host a lot of that stuff where I don't have to go reserve it with somebody else, and then it's mine, you know. So that should help us out a lot at the college.
And then just one thing to add, you know, we don't only we try to help the family all, so even the parents, like, you know, once they see that their student is going to college, they even start taking classes. A lot of our parents don't know English, so a lot of them start taking, you know, English classes, trying to see, oh, how can I go back to school? What can I do to, like, you know, also keep up with, like, what my child is doing. So it's a very nice transition to see that as well, because then they start helping, they help out with a lot of the community services as well. So then a lot of them, it's amazing how they haven't been to, like, Terrawire. They haven't been to, like, all these, like, places that you think they will be familiar with because they're afraid or anything. So now that they're students in the program, they're being exposed to that. So it's a very nice transition for them. It's a very good thing.
It sounds like everything is just very positive. And I thank you both for coming and doing it and telling us, because I've just learned a lot. And thank you.
Well, thank you.
Rob, before you go, I was on the board, Rob's worked tirelessly to help us to start that middle school program. And we have after-school programs. The bus is there. Rob allows our students to ride the bus. So it's really a great collaborative. It's a 360 kind of program. And you mentioned, students mentioned a few times, they get to stop in during the day to teachers who are in the after-school program, which means there are high school teachers that are teaching this, right?
Yep, so one of the masterminds of the program, I think, right, or the real beauty of the program is the fact that a lot of the teachers at Danbury High or in the middle school for the Excel program work for us during the summer and during the academic year. So it adds that piece of continuity for the students. You know, they know the teacher for 4 years. For example, Ms. Bergnolo, who some of you may know, happens to be a very good editing writer. She teaches English at the high school, and she's able to, like, really help all the kids, whether they're freshmen or whether they're seniors, or whether I'm working on a grant, I go to her, so she's multifaceted in that way. Also, in the tutoring, what we've tried to do too, we also are in the process of hiring some tutors from the honors program to come down and help with the after-school tutoring program as well at the high school. So, you know, it really has been a feat, but it's worked, and the things that I've recognized is if you're gonna have an after-school program for kids, there has to be transportation home. I used to think you just had to have food. It's not just food, you just have to have transportation home, food helps. Yeah, it's really been, you know, when I grew up, guys, after-school programs were a norm. You know, no one went home. I mean, everybody went home later on, and when I saw that, you know, there was an after-school program going, but we've just put it on steroids. You know what I mean? It's really hopping now. The other thing is I know Yago last year was part of that minority bilingual teaching pipeline. The good thing about that is all those students are bilingual, and so what they did at the high school last year is they went to the after-school tutoring program and kind of put on like a note-taking seminar, you know, for bilingual students to hopefully help them, you know, take more notes, and they taught different techniques of note-taking.
Even this year, our AU students who are participating in this program are actually helping bilingual and ESL classes at Danbury High School right now. So during their free period, they will go to one teacher and just like help her out and help the other students as well. So it's a good, like, you know, the peer communication as well.
But the beauty, like Sal alluded to, it's the continuity of the teachers, understanding the students, and really, you know, what you guys are creating with that freshman, you know, class is that, you know, the rapport is there year after year, and it's just a relationship. You know, I constantly talk to these guys about having a good rapport with your teacher, having a good rapport. That means everything when you go to college for sure, but also in high school.
So before you go,
Yes.
and we didn't do this before.
That's all right.
Joe, these are the kinds of activities we were all proud of that Joe Voss was talking about when you hear what our kids are doing. Will the teachers from high school stand up?
Right.
I meant to do that before, so we know you're here. We want to thank you. Thank you, Jessica, thank you.
Thank you.
Good night, thank you. And to the students in the back, just so you know, superintendent's report, to let you know that, as Chairman indicated, when the audience has something to say at that table, they do not respond. That doesn't mean that they wouldn't take it up and discuss it. So please don't think that. So thank you very much for coming. Nice job.
Thank you all. Thank you, Ruth.
Thank you.
Wow, that was a great presentation.
Isn't it fun? It's phenomenal. Good night, Dave. Good night, Thomas.
Right, you don't need power.
Yeah?
No, that's true, we don't need PowerPoint ever. Right. And this right here, nothing breaks, notice it just keeps flowing, all right. All right, moving to our action items. Thank you all for coming. Thank you. Our action items, go Kevin.
That the Board of Education approve the use of building rental funds in accordance with 15-172.
Second.
Seconded by Bob Taversack. Any discussion, questions for Mr. Martino? Okay, seeing none. Oh, Bob, I'm sorry.
Just a comment. We just had a sites and facilities meeting, and
Bob,
I'm very proud that we've been able to use the rental fund for what it's supposed to be used for. Okay? So, money comes in and it's used for the facilities that are directly related to the activities that rental fund money is collected. Okay? It's nice to see that kind of program operate the way it should.
it's actually been doing that for a while, and it's very rewarding. Okay, thank you. Is that the only question or piece of conversation on this? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Seeing none, passes. Go, Ken.
I believe
We
that
have
this
to
has to
remove-
table, we have to
I need a
table.
motion to table. The contract is, the Sodexo contract, as you know, runs through the State Department of Education and what is the school lunch program. We put the original contract on, and the state contract, again, has some edits. There are minor changes that have to comply with state and federal statutes. So, in a sense, I need a motion to table this item until bring it back at the next meeting.
I make a motion that we table the Sodexo agreement.
Seconded by Gladys. And that's it? All in favor? Aye. Done. Okay, we're moving on to the superintendent's report.
School enrollment, we talked about it last time, but we are right now for this year at, let me make sure this is 11,192. And last year at this time, we were at 10,950.